Sorry. Okay, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. So today we will discuss week 1, and before I discuss about week 1, I just want to recall or remind back or inform back uh, what what's important. Okay, so based on the questionnaire that I post in the group, I can see that most of you are very convenient with the Google Meets. So I think I will continue with Google Meets for our meeting. And our meeting will be in a week, only 1 hour meeting, which is I choose Wednesday. Okay, 12 to 1, similar like this hour. Okay, because what? Because why? We consider every weeks you have you have topics to cover to watch the video. So I believe I consider that you will watch the video on Monday, and then you do some exercise or some question, and whatever you didn't understand, actually you can straight away ask me during when you watch the video. But when you do the exercise, you also can ask me. But on Wednesday, I will make some review for that week's of topic. Okay. I think all of you okay, right? What I've mentioning. And then the group members. Okay, so the group members, before this I said 4 members in a group, but now I think you can have 5 members in a group. Okay, but then you need to write your name in the Google form or Google sheet that I give the links to. Okay, so that most important. And then I didn't put the column for handphone number. Okay, because I'm afraid it's a confidential. Okay, however, you can sorry, I mean, yeah, some of you can just put your name there, but you must find who is your friend, who is your group members. Okay, make sure you have their number phone, and then for sure you can find it from our group members too lah, from our WhatsApp group though. Okay, all right. So have you watched the video?
Yes,
Watch the video or not?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes.
Very.
Yes,
Have
we
you
do.
done? Do you have you done any question ke? So I do hope that you have module and stat table. Okay, again stat table too, you will need to have the stat table in order for you to answer the test nanti. Okay, so sorry, so that's why I said you need the stat table and for sure the module lah. Okay, try your best to buy it from senior or maybe from your from our penerbit punya ni lah. Alright. So this is the slide for chapter 1. I believe you have looked at this chapter 1 and you go through with the video. Okay, so you can see that chapter 1 is about introduction to statistics. Okay, so there are a few outcomes here that you need to have. Okay, by the end of the chapter, you must have this expected outcome. Okay, and this is the content. You can see my screen, isn't it?
yes,
Yes.
Okay, so this is the main content. We have 1.1 until 1.5, and for this week, suppose 1.1 until 1.2. Okay, but 1.2 ni only until 1.2.3. Okay, all right. So basically 1.1 is about terminologies. Then this terminologies is very important. You should understand. Do not memorize. Okay, again, you should understand. And then the statistical problem solving methodology ni, usually you will use this step when you do your PSM project. Okay, or you do research, you will do that. Okay, all right. So I will go through, not very slow, will be quite quick because we consider that you have learned that before we have this discussion. Okay. So here important keywords that you must understand. What is statistic? What is population? What is sample? What is parameter? What is statistic? This statistic without S. This with S. Okay. descriptive statistic, and inferential statistic. So that terminologies, you should understand what is it, all right? Because when you didn't understand that, it's difficult for you to move in chapter 2, okay? Because in chapter 2, we just say parameter, statistic, but you must know what is it parameter, what is it statistic, what is sample, what is population, okay? And again, I want to highlight here, in our test, chapter 1 portion is much lah compared to chapter 2 and 3. Okay, so that's why chapter 1 is very important, and you know that your test is 30%, so you should score in chapter 1, and chapter 1 is not really difficult. You just need to understand. Okay, so basically this is just general things lah. I know you can read this one before, but I just want to see, I just want to inform that statistic, you use it anywhere, everywhere, every day. Okay, you can see, even now you can see the COVID-19 too. You can see how many affected, how many recovered, how many deaths. All right, so that is statistic. Okay, and then here is a scientific definition. Okay, what is a statistic? The science of conducting study, collect, organize, summarize, analyze, present, interpret, draw conclusion from data. So for example, if I take data COVID-19, from this COVID-19, I can see, I can group, or I collect the data, and then I can organize the data. Okay, you can see from the news based on what? Number of infected, okay, number of death, number of recover, and then I analyze, summarize, I present, I interpret, and I draw conclusion. So here important as well, what is data? You should know data is any value or observation or measurement that you collect. So this is very important as well for your assignment, because in your assignment, you should have one title where you collect the data. Okay, so the data, something that you interested to study. Okay, so let's say my example is COVID-19. So my data is about data for COVID-19 lah. Okay, all right. So that is statistic. Okay, no need to memorize, but you should understand what is statistic. Okay. So why we need statistic? Usually when why we need statistics, sometimes we can have the information, and then we have can describe the relationship between variables. Okay, for example, okay, variables, what is variables? Variables is a characteristic or attribute that can assume different value. So this is the data. For example, I want to study about UMP student CGPA. All right, so what is my variable? CGPA. Because I concern, or I concerned about CGPA, UMP student CGPA. So CGPA is the variable. CGPA is the data that I will measure. If I want to study about customer satisfaction towards Proton car, so what is my variable? What is my data? It will be customer satisfaction. All right, that means I measure that one. Okay, so make sure you clear what is variables here. Why we need statistic? Actually, we can see lah the information, the category too, and then we can see the relationship, okay, between the variables. And then you also will have a better decision. Okay, that's mean from the statistic, you collect, you analyze, you present, you organize, and everything. Finally, you will have a conclusion. So based on the conclusion, you will decide which one is better. For example, you want to buy two brand of shoes, sport shoes, for example. You have Nike and you have Puma. So between these two, which one is better? Which one is good? So you will look the price, you will survey, and so on, the quality. Then from that analysis, you can, sorry, you can have your decision, which one is the best for you, okay? So this is important, population and sample. So basically, if I want to study about COVID-19, just now I mentioned COVID-19 for Malaysia, okay, for Malaysia. So that's mean my population is all people, all human live in Malaysia. So that is my population, okay? Then sample is a subset of the population. So for example, in each state, in each state. How many states we have in Malaysia? 14, isn't it? So we have 14 states here. So from 14 states, each state, I take 5 patients. So this is a sample. Okay. So before I go further, population, you have tangible, intangible. So tangible, you can count. Intangible, you cannot count. For example, star. Can you count how many stars in the sky? No, isn't it? Yes, so that's intangible. But tangible, you can count. For example, number of patient COVID-19. Can you count how many? Yes, isn't it? So, that one is tangible. Okay? Then, from population, and sample, we will have parameter and statistic. What is parameter? Parameter is numerical value. That means it's a number. But this number calculate from population. Okay? And then statistic is a numerical value as well. But this one you calculate from sample. For example, just now I mentioned I want to study COVID-19 patient. Okay, number of COVID-19 patient, or maybe we can consider what is it? But COVID-19 patient. So from population, let's say we have how many million population in Malaysia? 2.6 lah. Okay, for example, je lah, 2.6 million. So this is N. This is population, capital N. Okay, we denote by capital N. Sample, we denote by small sample, N, small n. So our population is 2.6 million. But sample is, I consider each state I take 5. So 14 times 5, how many number of patient I can have? 14 times 5, I get 70. So 70 patient. So this is sample. All right. Do you clear? Population and sample?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then from population, you get parameter. From sample, you get statistic.
Yes.
Yes. So from the population, in our class, we focus on this measurement. We have mean, variance, standard deviation, proportion. So when you calculate from population, it's called parameter. And the notation will be mu for mean. Let's say I want to study the mean average weight of 2.6 million population. I get 40 kg. Okay, so this one I calculate from population. But when I calculate from sample, the mean weight, it will give me X point, maybe 45 kg. Okay, so again, you must know this is statistic. Okay, but this statistic, we are talking about mean. And this is statistic because we calculate from sample. Okay, and then 40 kg, okay, is a parameter because it's a value. And this is a mean. And then this one calculate from population. Okay, so here you will have variance, sigma square, standard deviation, sigma, proportion, pi. In statistic, the corresponding, kalau here is mu, here will be x bar, here sigma square, here s square, sigma, s, pi, p. And this p actually x over n. Okay, proportion, you only have 2 outcome, yes or no, true or false. That's why when you calculate the statistic, it will be x over n. From sample, how much is say yes, for example. All right. All right. This is example. So I think you go through this one. I will try to do exercise, not this one. Okay. This one. Have you done this one or not?
Yes.
Any difficulties? Any confusing? You clear, isn't it? What is population? What is the population? Anyone? What is the population?
All for CA students.
Yes. important here, okay, you can see the first word, the first sentence. The number of first year student at a residential college is 317 student. So you can see that first year student, you have 317, okay? And then an IQ pretest is given to all of them in their first week. Wait, kejap I punya makanan dah. Okay, really sorry I also struggle at home to cook and to have lunch for my kids. Alright, so if you look here, the number of first year student at a residential college is 370 students. So from here you can see, you didn't know yet this is population or not, but you know that number of first year student at college 317, okay? An IQ pretest is given to all of them in their first week, okay? Then the Dean of Admission collect data on 27 of them. So you can see that from 317, how many they collect? 27, isn't it? Yes or no? Yes. So this is your small n. And then you get from here, this is your capital N. So if I say capital N, you should know, is it population or is it sample?
Population.
Yes, that's I want you to know, okay? Because it's important. Sometimes we give you in terms of capital N, but sometimes students didn't understand. Capital N is population, okay? All right. Okay, the Dean of Admission collect data on 27 of them and found their mean score on IQ pretest was 51. Okay, so you can see the keywords here, mean score, all right, mean. That's mean average, okay? So it can be mu, it can be X bar, correct or not?
Yes.
Yes.
But if you look this sentence, this mean score, they calculate from sample or they calculate from population?
Population.
Are you sure?
Sample.
Sample. Look again the sentence. The Dean of Admission collect data on 27 of them. You know that we have 317, collect 27 and found their mean score. Their mean score refer to 27. So that's why your X bar is 51 because they calculate the mean score too from the sample. Okay, so that's why I said statistic is very easy, but you should understand the sentence too. Okay, you must know how I read the question, how I detect this one is mu, this one is X bar, this one is population, this one is sample. Okay, the mean of the entire first year student was estimated to be approximately 51. This one. What is 51 again? This one. So this one not confusing, okay, but if you remember, you learned this in probability or counting and probability in your previous study lah. When they ask about estimated to be approximately, it will be expected mu, something like that, or expected X. So it's a 51 estimated, okay, but you can see entire first year, that's mean refer to population, okay. And then the last sentence, a subsequent computer analysis of all first year students show that the true mean, okay, in our class, when they say true mean, it's mean population mean, okay? So true similar with population, okay, is 52. So this one is what?
Sampling error.
No lah.
No.
This is mu. Sampling error belum masuk lagi tau. Advance sangat. Okay, sampling error, yes, you will have sampling error, the difference between mu and X bar. Okay, or the mu with the expected. So you can see your sampling error will be 1.
Why?
Okay, but that one is not in this subtopic lah. Okay. Alright, so you can see lah what answer for A, for B. Is it tangible or conceptual?
Tangible.
Tangible. Yes. because you can count how many students, isn't it? Okay. So I think here is clear. What is the variable? What is the variable they want to study? What is the data that you collect?
IQ pretest.
Yes, IQ score. IQ score. Score should be there. Okay. And then before that, I forgot code. A ni, what is the population? So you can give me the answer n equal to 317, or you can say all first year students live at college. Okay. Can you see how I answer the question too? You cannot say first year student. No, because the specific though, you can see first year student who live at college. Okay, sometimes there are first year live outside the college, isn't it? So you must. But if you do this, straight away you get 1 mark lah, for example. Okay. So which number describe a parameter we've discussed here, and then this one as well. Okay. So clear or not for this one?
Yes, madam.
Yes, very good. So this is important. Okay. Sorry. Then we move to descriptive and inferential. All right. So in statistic, we have descriptive statistic, we have inferential statistic. So basically, I just want to mention here, descriptive statistic, you just calculate very simple things. Not simple things, very simple things lah. For example, you calculate mean, mode, median. Okay, you find the variance, okay, the standard deviation, okay. That's mean you use sample to calculate jugalah, alright. But inferential statistic, something that you do more detail, then you conclude for general population, okay. You make inference actually, okay. For example, usually you will have this in our class letter lah, in chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 too. Okay, but usually you will do the inferential statistic when you do your PSM project as well. Okay, you do the hypothesis testing, you do the estimation, you look is there any relationship or not. Okay, so in order for you to analyze the data and to get the answer for that, you will do more analysis. All right, you will do detailed analysis. Okay, so you can see the example here. Okay, 10,000 parents in Malaysia have chosen Takaful Insurance as their trusted life insurance agency. So you can see, they say 10,000. Easy to calculate, isn't it? Okay. But inferential statistic, you can see the death rate of lung cancer was 10 times higher for smoker compared to non-smoker. So how they know 10 times higher? They must do something, isn't it? Do some analysis, further check, and so on. Can you see? So that is inferential statistic. Okay. Any question for that one?
No.
Okay. All right. So this is just the flow chart lah. Okay, the flow chart. This is exercise. You can try this one. I think we have the answer at the module. Okay, you can look. Okay, computer. So computer role in statistics, nowadays there are many software, okay, can be used to do the analysis. However, in our class, we focus on Microsoft Excel. Consider because it's free for all of you. But other than that, in the future, if you work outside, okay, you can use Amos, eView, Minitab, R, SAS, okay, many lah. But some of them are licensed, some of them are open source. So open source are, for example, so I use this frequently, okay, for my research. So it's very easy and best juga lah, I suka. Alright. So this is how you add the tools that we want to use in our data analysis. So this is important for your assignment. Okay, I want you to go through this one, how to add in the data analysis ni inside your laptop. Okay, so this one you go through yourself because it's important for you for your assignment. All right, now we move to 1.2. So in 1.2, it's a statistical problem solving methodology. So basically we have 6 steps. Okay, so this 6 step, usually if you do research in the future, you will use this step. Okay, so we will go through until 1.2.3, which is until collect data. Okay, but the rest will be in the next week lah. Okay, so first, this is quite similar for your assignment as well. Okay, that means if you do your assignment, if you have read your assignment, this will be parallelly. That means you can see the question and then you can see lah what to think, what step, what should you do. Okay, so first step, actually we have 6 here. First, identify the problem, decide on the method of data collection, collect the data, and then classify and summarize the data, present and analyze the data, and make decision and conclusion. Okay, so we go to 1.2.1, identify the problem. So what is the problem that you can solve, or you want to analysis, or what you want to do the research, what you want to study. Okay, for example, very easy example, I want to study UMP student CGPA. That's very easy example. Okay, or you want to study about the shoe price in the market. So you want first identify the problem, because you want to study, and then you know lah the problem, maybe you didn't know the price range. Okay, then you want to do that. But in the PSM project, usually it will be more detailed lah. Okay, your supervisor will be more very know about the field. Okay, but this is very simple example lah. Let's say I want to study UMP student CGPA. Why? Maybe I want to see how is the UMP student performance. Okay, even maybe NC want to see that. Okay, overall, how good is our student? All right. So this is some question that you must consider. So similar for your assignment. Okay, it's up to you. But you must have title. I forgot to put the title in the Excel too, but I will put later. So if you have the title, you WhatsApp me, you ask, is it okay or not? Okay, usually I want you to consider the data. Data is quantitative. Okay, can be measured. For example, just now CGPA, you can measure. Price, okay, weight ke, height ke. Okay, but not a number of lah, not a number of. You must find a continuous data set. Okay, but here important, you must understand what's problem or opportunity that you have, that you can do the research. All right. And this is some characteristic of sample lah. Okay, we mentioned about sample, population. Okay, here census. Census, when you have population, for example, I want to study UMP student CGPA section 12G. What is my population?
Student in 12G.
Yes, very good. All right, so that's the population. So my population is equal with 61. Okay, so if I use all here as a sample, it will be your census. It will be a census. Okay, because I consider whole population. So it will give you greater likelihood of non-sampling error. That means I will have very good data and there's no sampling error. Okay, so what is sampling error? Sampling error is calculated when statistical characteristic of population are estimated from a subset or sample. So that's mean if you look my previous example just now, 51 and 52, if you find the difference, you get 1. 1 is the sampling error. Clear? So no need to memorize what is sampling error, but you should understand how you get sampling error and what is sampling error. Okay. Sorry. And then you have non-sampling error. So what is non-sampling error? Is an error that are not due to sampling. For example, in a survey, mistake may occur in the selection of people. Okay, for example, I give you example. Okay, how is it? Let's say I want to study UMP student CGPA section 12G, BUM 2413. So you mentioned just now, my population is all of you, 61 students, correct or not? And then when I look the questionnaire, I have another student which not come from my section. Okay, for example. So that's considered non-sampling error. All right. Or maybe I want to do a survey based on, I want to do a research or survey on Malaysian attitude towards shopping behavior. Okay, so when we are talking shopping behavior, I can collect the data from the shopping mall, isn't it? Okay, I have a questionnaire, and then those who pass me, I give the questionnaire. However, in my respondent tu, those yang answer my questionnaire tu, there's one respondent which is come not for shopping. It's a seller, for example, or the owner of the shop. Okay, so that's considered non-sampling error. Okay, clear or not?
Yes.
Okay. So this is other things lah. You can read this one. And this is quite important when you do the PSM. Okay, if you do the social science things, okay, it's very important. All right, now data collection. So data collection, we have actually two only. Okay, here they say three, but basically they have two, which is primary and secondary. Okay, so primary, you collect yourself. Either you do the experiment, you do the questionnaire, but you collect yourself. Okay, however, secondary, you get it from someone else. For example, I want to study UMP student CGPA, isn't it? Other than I collect it from the student, I can get the CGPA from where? At UMP? Anyone knows? Where can I get the CGPA? From UMP, which department? PIDA, isn't it? Before this, we call it KAIK ke? Ataupun apa? Yang jaga exam selalu? But now they have PIDA and what lah. Okay, so other than I collect myself, okay, through student, I can get it from that department. Okay, or let's say I want to study gold price, okay, gold price in Malaysia. So I can get the price at which website? Gold price website, okay, or maybe I want to study about rainfall at Malaysia. So I can get the data from Meteorological Malaysia department. So that called secondary data, okay. So I just go through this one. We have data that are made available by others, okay, so it's a secondary data. And then we have actually experiment is also experiment is an observational study ni is a primary data. Okay, you get yourself, you take yourself, you collect yourself. All right, even observation and interview ni you get yourself lah, isn't it? You collect yourself. Even you do the interview, it's a primary because you collect yourself. All right, clear this one? Method of okay, good. So this is other things that you can read, okay, but important here, you should know qualitative research and quantitative research, okay. So those who are engineering background, usually you will do quantitative research, this one, okay. But for those who are come from social science or from social science lah, usually you will have qualitative research, okay. So qualitative research, you measure something something that is not a number lah kan, is maybe feeling, behavior, okay. If you do the every year, every semester, you will evaluate your lecturer at the end of the semester, correct or not? So you have scale 1 until 5, isn't it? So actually, they measure your satisfaction, satisfied or not. But it's difficult to measure the satisfaction without the scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that one originally is a qualitative research, but they convert into Likert scale. So easier to understand what is your feeling, satisfied or not. Okay, so that is qualitative. But quantitative research, okay, you collect data and you have number something, experiment. For example, if you want to study about the surface roughness, you can see lah how much is the surface roughness, okay? The measurement tu. Even the CGPA is a quantitative research, right? Okay, so this one you can read, okay, interview method, and this is the other method. So basically, you will have this all when you do the PSM. It depends what is your field, okay? Okay, I want you to try to go through this one, okay? I think there's no problem here. Everything is clear, but maybe question C, I have different answer from the module, okay? What is the module answer? If I'm not mistaken, it's observational, isn't it? Any one of you? Do you have the module? What is the answer from the
Tak
module?
ada, tak ada modul lagi.
Yang lain ada tak? I punya tinggal kat office tapi tapi if I'm not mistaken, quite different from my answer lah. But there is a reason lah. Because from C2, you can see that a researcher find that people who are most hostile have higher total cholesterol level. So when we are talking about cholesterol level, it's difficult for us to measure by just looking the hostile tu. Okay, that's my argument. Okay, but never mind, we can consider it's observational or experimental. But the sentence is not really clear as well, not really detailed. Okay, but other than that, I think it's clear lah. Okay. All right, now collecting the sample technique. Okay, okay. First, just now you identify the data. You identify the problem. Okay, what you want to do, what is the problem that you can do the research and so on. And then step number 2, how you want to collect the data, either primary or secondary. Okay, now 1.2.3, the sampling technique, how you want to get the data. Okay, so sampling is a process of select few sample. Just now I mentioned kan, I want to study UMP student CGPA for section 12G. So all my student here is a population. And then I just want to take 10 student. Okay, let's say capital N is 60 and then my sample is 10. I just want 10 student. So how can I collect these 10 student? So there is a way how to do that. Okay, there are two methods. Non-probability sampling, where you will have judgment, voluntary and convenience. And then we have probability sampling, where you have random, systematic, stratified and cluster. So non-probability samplings, you will not consider probability when you collect the data. Okay, but probability sampling, we will consider the probability, whereas everybody has a chance to be selected as a sample. And usually number 2 is better compared to number 1 because number 2 is unbiased. That means you have equal chance. For example, 60 student ni kan, I want to choose 10 student. So each of you have a probability to be a sample 0.5, 50%. Selected, not selected. Okay, so this one you should understand very well. Okay, because in test, usually given a situation, from the situation, you need to know, this one, is it non-probability sampling or probability sampling? If probability sampling, which one? Okay, so this is just the flow, not the flow, the figure lah. Okay, but in the future, if you deal with research, there are many other as well. Okay, it can sometimes be multi-stage. Okay, sometimes at the first place we use random sampling, and then the second stage we use stratified, something like that. Okay, so similar for your assignment. Okay, you need to consider that. So for example, if I want to study UMP student CGPA, okay, so all my population is all UMP student, then I want to do how I want to collect the data too. Is it based on faculty? Is it based on program? So then you can see which sampling technique can be used. Okay. So this is non-probability sampling method. Okay, I just go through a little bit. We have about 6 minutes, isn't it? Because I should stop 12:50, 10 minutes before 1, isn't it? Okay, so I just
Yes.
go through a little bit. I just go through a little bit this one, but I do hope you understand this very well. No need to memorize, but you should understand. Okay, so judgment sampling, usually the data is collected based on expert panel. Okay, for example, you can see the example here is about campaign. Okay, election. So we know that at Malaysia, for example, I don't know really about politics ni, but let's say previous example lah. Let's say we know that at Pekan, Datuk Najib is very he has a very strong support from Pekan resident, isn't it? So based on expert, we know if you go there, you can get more support. So based on that judgment sampling. Or another example, if you want to study about surface roughness. Okay, so surface roughness, there are many level or there are many category, but based on the expert, which you got it from previous literature, okay, or from certain professor, which is expert about surface roughness, they say, oh, you just collect 2 category only. So you follow that expert judgment. All right, so that's called judgment sampling. All right. So voluntary sampling is a voluntary base. Okay, usually it's at radio, at television, at website. Sometimes they email us, and then we have choice, either want to volunteer to answer or not. So that is voluntary sampling. Okay, convenience sampling, similar what I mentioned just now. If I want to study about Malaysian behavior on shopping, so I go to shopping mall. Okay. Or if I want to study UMP student satisfaction towards UMP library, so I go to library and sit in front. Those who pass me, I give the questionnaire. Okay? Clear or not, this one?
Yes.
And if you can see this, there's no probability here because I can choose whoever I want, and voluntary, anyone can volunteer, and judgment specific with that person. All right, so that's why this called non-probability sampling, and it's quite biased lah. Okay, it's not really good, but sometimes it's good for certain situation. Okay, now we move to probability sampling. All right, so this one I want you to hear carefully how you know it's a probability sampling or not, and so on. I know you can read the example in the slide, but I will give you another example which is more close with us here. Okay, so when we are talking about probability sampling method, first we have random sampling. So just now I mentioned to you, I want to study UMP students CGPA section 12G. So my population is 60. I want to take 10 sample only. Correct or not? So by random sampling, each of you, I have a list name of your name. I have a list name, isn't it? In the class, 1 until 60 student. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 until 60 student. So using a random number, so this random number, you can have it from your calculator or you can have it from random number table. Okay, if you remember, you learn using random number table, but now we use calculator to have a random number. So I think I will show a little bit later in the groups how you use calculator to find the random number. But let's say from the calculator, I get 0.234. So first, as a researcher, you need to decide first. You want to use the first two, the last two, or the middle two. Why two? Because I have 60 students. If I have 100 students, I will choose the middle three, the left three, or the right three. Okay. So now, because I have 2 digits only, so I need to decide the first two, the middle two, or the last two. So let's say I take the last two here. So it's number 34. So 34 here, there is a student number 34 in my class, isn't it? So this one will be my first sample. And then I press again. Let's say I get 0.262. So the last two number is 62. Do I have student number 62?
No.
No. Yes. So you press again. So I don't have it right. So I press again. So I press again, then I get 0.23. Oh, sorry. 0.202. So the last two, number 2. So this one will be my second sample. So I will do that until I get 10 students. So that's called random sampling. Clear?
Yes.
Yes.
And then you have with or without replacement. So without replacement, that means I just bring to the sample. But if with replacement, after I select the first two, I put back. And then I select again, I put back. Okay. But usually we go for this one lah, without replacement. All right. Okay, now we move to next because it's almost, not almost, it's exactly 10 before 1. Okay. Okay, systematic sampling, where you need to find K. K. Right? The same situation, okay? I have 60 students, and then each of my student, you have number 1, 2, 3 until 60. Okay? But before I do systematic sampling, I need to find K. So K will be 60 over 10. So I will get 6, isn't it? Okay, K equal to 6. So I have just now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 until 60. So from the first 6, okay, K equal to 6. From the first 6, I need to choose one. How I choose one? I use random sampling. Previous. All right? Clear or not?
Clear.
So I choose one. Let's say I press random sampling number from calculator. I get number 3. Okay. So 3 plus 6, you get 9. So this is first sample, second sample, plus 6, you get third sample, and so on. Clear?
Clear.
All right. So this is systematic. Okay. Because you need to find K. Within this K, find one sample using random sampling, and then you just add 6, 6, and then you get the next sample. Right, now move to stratified sampling. So stratified sampling, you divide your population into a group, okay? But you should understand that the characteristic of the groups too, okay? Within each group is homogeneous. Each group, okay, among the group, heterogeneous. So my student just now, I have 60 students. Okay, I have 60 students. I divide you into gender. So I have female, I have male. You can see that this group, female, it has similar characteristic among themselves. Male, you have similar characteristic among yourself here. But between male and female, you have dissimilarity, or we call it heterogeneous. All right. So from here, let's say female, I have 30. Male also, I have 30 students. So from here, I will take 5. Here, I will take 5. How I choose 5? We use random sampling. Okay. So random sampling usually always we use lah. Okay, if we have list of your data, list of your name, list of your identity card. Okay. So but important here at this part. Okay, clear or not? Stratified? Clear kan? Any question for this one? All right. So next is cluster. So cluster, we divide into group as well. Okay, into group as well. However, among the group, you can see each cluster has heterogeneous characteristic but homogeneous among the cluster. Let's say I have 3 cluster. So among themselves, here you have homogeneous, similar characteristic. However, inside here, I have dissimilarity. I don't have, heterogeneous characteristic. Okay. For example, can you see my screen? The right side ni is your name, isn't it? Your name here. Can you see or not?
Yes.
All right. So let's say you can see I have 4 rows. Sorry, 4 column and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 row, isn't it? So I want to group you based on column. So I have 1 column, 2 column, 3 column, 4 column. So you can see that each of you here, 4 column tu, 4 column that I have, what is the similar characteristic? You are my student, you are UMP student, what else? But inside the cluster here, you have different characteristic. For example, maybe you are not come from, coincidentally here is all from civil, but maybe Nur Muhammad come from other faculty, okay? Or you can see that maybe you are senior or junior. So that's different. And you are male, female here, okay? So that's the different characteristic. So you as a researcher, you look your population and then look how you want to set up or how you want to take the sample, which method to be used. Okay, so similar for your assignment letter. Okay. So any question? So far, we should stop until there. But you can see lah the advantages and disadvantages ni. No need to memorize everything. Okay, you can see clearly the general thing. For example, for non-probability ni easy to get. I mean the advantage is what? Easy to get the respondent, fast respond. However, disadvantages, unbiased, cannot represent population. Okay, but for probability sampling, okay, what is the advantages? Sorry, okay, that's mean I wrong here. This one is bias, okay. Non-probability is bias. It's not really good, and you cannot do or you cannot generalize for population. The advantages is fast, good. I mean fast and easy to get. Okay. Inexpensive as well. You can see the keywords, okay? But for random sampling, for probability sampling, it's very good sampling, okay? Unbiased. But the disadvantages are high costly, time consuming, and sometimes tedious. So you just not memorize, you just understand a little bit, okay? But no need to memorize, okay? Just understand a little bit. Why I mention like this, because sometimes in test question, let's say question number 4, you answer what is the sampling technique, and then question number 5 they will ask based on your answer in question number 4, what is the advantages and advantages. All right, but again here no need to memorize everything here. You can use your own human sense. If probability, what's the main thing? If non-probability, what is the main thing? Okay. All right. So that one you can try your exercise. Okay. And then I think that's all for today. And we continue next week on Wednesday. Any question before we finish the class?
No.
Others? All clear, eh? So I will share this record, this video, and then try look again, okay? And if you still not understand what is it and has problem, just WhatsApp me, okay? Personally also can. So I think that's all for today.
Hello, doktor.
Pardon?
Hello, doktor.
Apa Zari? I tak dengar.
Hello, doktor.
Huh?
Oh, sorry.
No, it's not really clear, Zari. You can type also can. So clear, eh?
Clear, doktor.
Okay. Thank you so much. So I think that's all for today. Thank you, class.
Thank you, Doctor.
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 Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.